Today we're going to be working on both lessons 23 and 24. We're going to be talking about true and false number sentences. So today we're going to be looking at things and determining whether or not they are a true statement or if they make a false math statement. So our objective is by the end of this lesson, we're going to see if we can explain what inequality symbols represent. So an inequality is going to use one of these four symbols. Let me move this up a little bit so we can actually see everything on the bottom. So inequalities, if I have this symbol, this is going to be the greater than symbol. I'm going to trace over this in red so you can see which one I'm talking about. This is our greater than symbol. So for example, I could say 5 is greater than or more than 4. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the greater than symbol. We also have the less than symbol. The less than symbol is going to go this way. You'll notice that the opening always points to the bigger number. So I could say that 3 is less than 7. Those are ones you've been comfortable with and you've been using for a while. However, today we're going to be adding in these two ones on the bottom. So if you notice, I have the greater than symbol here, but I also have a line below it. And this line below it is going to be key. This means it's more than or it's equal to. So if you see this line below it, it can also equal that number. So I could say that 9's a hard number to write on my computer screen, is greater than or more than 7. However, in this case, I could also say that 9 is greater or equal to 9. Because of that equal sign, the number either has to be larger or it has to be equal to it. Sometimes you might hear them say it must be at least this much, no more than, or a minimum of, to show you that this would be the symbol that you would want. Finally, the last one we're going to really talk about today is going to be the less than or equal to sign. So again, you'll see that it has that line underneath. So this means it's at most something, it's no more than, or it's a maximum of something. So I could say that 4 is less than or equal to 7. However, I could also say that 4 is less than or equal to 4 because of that line underneath. So these are some new symbols we're going to be looking at. Again, whenever I see that line underneath, that's going to mean that it could also equal it. So let's practice with some algebra here with that. So for each equation or inequality that I display, we're going to write the equation or inequality and substitute 3 for every x. Then we're going to determine whether or not they result in a true number sentence or a false number sentence. So today, again, our goal is to figure out, is this a true or a false statement? So I look at the first one, my first true or false number statement. If I have 5 plus x equals 8, and I want to substitute 3 for x and evaluate. So wherever I see an x, I'm going to put the number 3. I'm just going to write right over it on there. So if I have 5 plus 3, does that equal 8? Yes. So this would be a true number statement. Okay, let's look at the next one on here. So now I have 5x equals 8. And again, I'm going to be substituting in 3 for x. So wherever I see an x, I'm going to put the number 3 instead. Now, does this mean 53? No, remember a number next to a variable means to multiply. So this is really meaning 5 times 3. I'm going to try to put some parentheses there. I know it looks kind of sloppy, but I said 5 times 3 equals 8. Does 5 times 3 equal 8? No, because 5 times 3 equals 15. So this would be a false number statement. Okay, let's look at the next one then. If I told you 5 plus x is greater than 8, and I want to substitute 3 for x and evaluate. So again, I'm going to put a 3 here in its place. So I have 5 plus 3 equals 8. Is 8 greater than 8? No, 8 is the same as 8. So that would be a false number sentence. Again, I don't have the line underneath that, so it's only numbers that are greater. Okay, what about if I substitute in 3 for x again here? So now again, I'm going to put 3 wherever I have an x. So if I have 5 times 3 is greater than 8. Well, 5 times 3 is 15. Is 15 greater than 8? Yes. So I would say that that is a true statement. For our last one here, I want to know 5 plus x is greater than or equal to 8. And I want to substitute again in 3 for x. So if I put a 3 in this place, I want you guys to now determine, is this a true or a false number sentence? Because of this line right here underneath on the bottom, I know it could be greater than or it could be equal to it. So 5 plus 3 equals 8. So is 8 greater than or equal to 8? Because of that line saying it could be equal, that would be a true number sentence. Let's practice this a couple more times using different numbers now. So if I have 4 plus x equals 12, I want to substitute 8 for x this time. So when I look at this here, if I put the number 8 in its place, 4 plus 8 equals 12. That is a true statement. Looking at my next slide, my next example, now if I want to substitute in 4 for g, well, this is going to be 3 times 4, and it's supposed to be greater than 15. Well, 3 times 4 is 12. Is 12 greater than 15? No, it is not. So I would say that this is a false number sentence. Okay, so now though, I want to look at this and I want to figure out, is f divided by 4 less than 2? I'm going to substitute in 8 for f. So the fraction bar is going to actually mean division, remember? So this is really saying 8 divided by 4 is less than 2. Well, I know that 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 2 is not less than 2. It is the same. So this would be a false number sentence. If I had the line underneath to also mean it was equal, it would be true, but without that line, it is a false number sentence. So what about now if I substitute in 14 for b? So again, I'm going to put a number 14 here, and I'm going to have to figure out if I have 18 is less than or equal to 32 minus 14. Well, 32 minus 14 is 18. So I want you guys to take for a minute here to figure out if 32 minus b, when b equals 14, is that a true or false number sentence? Again, because of this line underneath, is 18 less than or equal to 18? Yes, so that would be a true number sentence. The last thing that we're going to look at is we're going to quickly figure out what kind of symbols could fit in the middle here. So if I have 15 plus 20 plus 9, and I want to add those two numbers together, I would get a 24 here. So what symbol could go in the middle? Well, I could have a less than or an equal to symbol because 24 is less than or equal to 24. I could have just a equal sign, or I could have a greater than or equal to symbol as well. All of those would work if I were to compare those two sides. Now I have 56 on the left side because 8 times 7 is 56. So what kind of symbol could I put in the middle? Well, since 56 is greater than 50, I could have my greater than symbol, but I could also have my greater than or equal to symbol. Now I have 15 divided by 2. Again, the fraction bar means to divide in algebra. So 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So what could go in the middle to compare those two? Well, since 7.5 is a smaller number, I could use the less than symbol, but I could also use the less than or equal to symbol. Okay, if I do 17 times 2, that equals 34. So on here I have 34, and I have 34 also on the left side. So again, I could do 34 is less than or equal to 34. I could do 34 is equal to 34, or 34 is greater than or equal to 34. Anything that has one of my equal symbols in it. For my last one, 24.5 minus 6, I would get 18 here, 0.5. So I need to figure out what symbols could I put in the middle there. Well, since 18.5 is the larger of the two numbers, I know 18 is less than or less than and equal to. This is what you're going to be practicing today. Not problems like this, but just determining if things are true or false.